I love a good book-based music lesson because it just makes things a little bit more fun. As music teachers, we have the unique privilege of being able to not just introduce students to different literature like they're hopefully already getting from their families and from their homeroom teachers, but we get to really make it fun. And when you make it fun, kids can really fall in love with literature. I also love using books in music because it provides kind of like a different format, and it gives you just something different to do so that you have, you know, just I like to keep it different. So I love using books in music class. Sometimes we just read them, like today we read a book called Too Much Noise because we've been talking about forte and piano, and so we talked about those things in that, but mostly we just read it. And today we're going to be talking, however, about a book called If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, and this one I am obsessed with. I've actually been using it for a few years, but I just finally got a whole lesson pack up on TBT. So if you see anything pop up on the screen here, a video or a picture or anything like that, that is from my lesson pack on TBT. You can purchase it, I'll link it down below. If you do purchase it, it makes things like super easy because everything's just like there and ready for you. You don't have to purchase it though in order to use the lesson. You also don't have to have the book in order to do this lesson. I think I even called it like mouse cookie composition instead because it's not stuck to the book. But without further ado, let's talk about using the mouse and cookie composition to work on beat and reading rhythms and ta and tt and even rest. That's a lot of stuff. So let's get started. All right, so when I'm using this, I made like a little video to get the kids moving because I just always like to get them moving at the beginning of class. And so I made a little mouse guy and a little cookie, and the mouse goes across the screen to get to the cookie, and you walk when the music is forte, and you tiptoe when it's piano, and then if it stops, then you freeze. And it's really quick, really fun. The kids have really been like it. The music effect is like very dancey, so they're always like, it's hilarious, but really cute and just like a really easy way to do things. And we have just come off of talking about forte and piano, so this was a great way to include it. Then we're doing one of my favorite activities. I do this with K and 1, and we'll do it later with 2nd grade. But basically up on the screen, I put 8 heartbeats, and each heartbeat gets a cookie. And I tell them, I don't know about you, but Miss Davis loves cookies. So every time we see a cookie, we're gonna say yum. So I point and we go yum, 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 and we're just keeping the beat. Okay, then we take one of the cookies off. So you can see in the slides, I have some that are like already taken off, so you can do it that way. I like to put them up on the board, and either digitally or sometimes physically, like I have the printouts as well included in the lesson pack, but I usually do digitally because I think it's easier, and then I don't have to print laminate things. And so I put them up on the board, and then I'll have a kid pick, and I'll say, okay, Nyla, which is my dog that's right here, not one of my students, Nyla, which cookie would you like to eat? And I am very clear that there are no actual cookies. Do be clear. And Nyla will be like, oh, number 3. And I'll be like, great. And I go, oh, and she'll go, oh. And then we all read the pattern again. However, this time without whichever one was there. So if she took number 3, then we would go yum, 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 yum. And I like to start with this even before we do rhythm because it gets the idea of the beats are there, but the sounds may or may not be. Because once we take the cookie away, I say, okay, when we get there, there's no cookie, so we can't say yum, but the heart is still there. So you still have to point and you still have to look at it, but we're not saying anything. And so it really gets them like thinking, oh, sound on beat, like beat still exists, even before we talk about any kind of rhythmic anything. So that has been really great. And we'll go all the way down to none. I usually tell them that number 1 is my cookie and they can't have it because it's just really, you know, it's harder to miss number 1. So I save mine to the last, and when all the other ones are gone, then I'll eat my cookie, which is number 1, and then we'll do the whole thing. It's so funny to watch them. 1, 2, ready, go. And it's like hilarious. It's the quietest they will ever be in their lives. And it's just really fun. Then usually on a, oh, sorry, we also read the book. Sometimes before that, sometimes after that. Just depends. Then after we have read the book, next we're going to add some different like iconic notation rhythms. So what we're doing specifically is we're gonna start with, okay, he asked for a cookie and he asked for milk. So we're gonna make a pattern with cookies and milk. So I'll say, I have popsicle sticks with numbers on them, and the kids sit on a number, so I'll pull out a popsicle stick and say, great, number 3, and whoever's on number 3 gets to answer the question. I'm like, what, you know, what do we want first? So we might do cookies, milk, cookies, milk. And so we'll make that. And then you go to the next part, which is now he wants a straw. And so now you have 3 options to make your rhythm. So it could be cookies, milk, straw, straw. And then he wants a napkin, and then he wants a mirror, and then he wants a broom. And you keep going, and you just have more and more and more options as you go. I also like to print these out, and I'll have the kids do them as well, and that is available in my shop. But then sometimes on the same day, sometimes on another day, we'll talk about the rhythm. So if I've never introduced rhythm before, then we'll be like, okay, we're gonna look at, you know, when we say that, we have some things like broom that have 1 sound, and then we have some things like cookies that have 2 sounds. So when we have 1 sound on a heartbeat, then we're gonna call it ta. That is editable, by the way, in my thing. And it has a quarter note. If we have 2 sounds, then we have titi, and this is what it looks like. And then we'll make some different patterns with the rhythms on there. Now, if they already know those and we're working on rest, then instead of doing that, I'll skip that part and we'll have patterns, and I'll have one that's like not there and it's empty. And I'll say, and you know, we'll go through and do like cookies, milk, milk. And then I'll show them what a rest looks like and tell them, you know, this is what a rest looks like. When we have no sounds on a beat, we have a rest, and then we'll make things with the rest. Once we've done this all together, I like to then get in groups or individually and have the kids do it themselves. So first together, so they can really, especially if this is new, do it together first on the board, and so that they can see it, they understand it, they can kind of get the vibe. Then let them do it in groups or by themselves with manipulatives, and you can use them like in centers, you can use them lots of different times, or you can print them out and have the students glue the answers down or write the answers down, and then they can, you know, color them, and it can be like a really cute little mouse craft. So cute. And there's lots of different ways you can do this. If you're not reading, you can have them do just like the pictures, and they can read just the pictures like we have done. If they already know the rhythms, then you can do the rhythms with the pictures, or you can have the pictures and have them match the rhythms underneath. I'll pop up a little video here so you can see what that looks like. If you do purchase the lesson pack, it comes with a couple of different options for that craft, as well as some other things and some printable worksheets, because you know, I know that worksheets get a bad rap, but they are so helpful. Can I just say, worksheets are great. Like, not all the time, but every once in a while worksheets are great. And I feel like I often just need, like, you know, it's great if you need 5 minutes for the kids to be quiet. It's great if you need a sub-plan. It's great if you suddenly have to go to the classroom. Like, there's a lot of options for worksheets that I really like. So I do actually like using worksheets in my class. Not a ton, but you know, once every month or 2 is probably fine. And so there's some of those in the lesson pack as well. I will link the book in the lesson pack down below if you want to grab that. A couple things I use this with. I love using it with the song Mouse Mousey, which goes, mouse mousey, little mousey, hurry, hurry do, or the kitty in the housey will be chasing you. It's got a fun little game that's kind of like, it's like Duck Duck Goose, but instead of Duck Duck Goose, the cat goes around the circle. They don't know who the mouse is because they close their eyes while you say who the mouse is. And then at the end of the song, the mouse gets up and goes around the circle. The cat has to try to tag the mouse before they get back to their seat. But the fun thing about, I love this one because the cat doesn't know who the mouse is. So they could be right next to each other, or they could be like on the whole other side of the room. And it just makes it a little bit more fun that way because there's a little bit more, you know, mystery to it. So that one's really fun. I also have been using it with Hickory Dickory Dock, and this is great for keeping the beat and movement activity. If you're not familiar, it goes Hickory Dickory Dock. The mouse ran up the clock struck 1, the mouse ran down, hickory dickory dock. So for this one, we do hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock struck 1, the mouse ran down, hickory dickory dock. My first graders are working on telling time, and so that has been a great one because I'll tell them different times. And so after we learn the actions, I'll do it, but I'll change the number and I won't tell them what it is. So I'll be like, hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock struck 3, and then I like pause and wait for them to figure out where 3 would be, and then we go through like, oh, this hand is up because it's the minute hand. Our hand's gonna be straight out. That way. Yes, I have to do it backwards and it really hurts my head. But it's really cute, and it's a good way to incorporate some of those, you know, other skills into the class. I actually have a whole like blog post about how I use mouse and bear songs for forte and piano, so not entirely the same thing, but I usually will stick all this stuff together at the same time because y'all know how I like a theme. So I will link that blog post down below and you can check that out and see all the different things that go along with that. And yeah, so check the blog post for mouse and bear songs, check the description for mouse and bear songs and for the book and for the lesson pack. And I would love to know if you have something fun that you do this one with, because it's a fun one and it's cute and it's short. I love a good short one, you know, because we just don't have time to be reading really long books. Sorry, but you know, short classes. So here we are. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.